Good morning! I almost said good morning, crusty crew. I don't know why. I feel crusty right now. I just woke up. Welcome to the start of a new vlog in the new year. It's 2025. I don't know how excited I am about it, but it's 2025. I am excited though for a new year of reading, as cheesy as that sounds. For this vlog, I think I'm going to do kind of a reset. I'm not going to make too many promises, but I did get my new book journal from Olive and Archer. I love these journals. My one from 2024 held up so well. Look at this. And it was just fun. Like, I think it made me remember details a lot more, and like I had a lot of fun doing all the collages and like daily reading, like my favorite of each month. So I'm excited to do that again. I'm gonna have a few different spreads that I didn't have in my last one, which I'm really excited about, like tracking my purchases, tracking how many library books I have, book bingo, a new book bingo, series tracker. So yeah, I'm nerding out about that stuff. I'm also gonna take down my Christmas stuff. I hate taking down my Christmas stuff. Not that I had that much this year because we were at my parents' for Christmas, so I put a few things up, but it's still sad. I love Christmas. January 5th. In terms of books we're reading for this vlog, I have been on a tear with vampire books. I read Empire the Vampire and Empire of the Damned like back to back. Last week? Yeah, it was last week. We saw Nosferatu. Loved it. Loved it. Just got done uploading my favorite horror from 2024. I'm down bad for vampires. Down bad for Nosferatu. Not like Ellen. Not like that. Not like that, you pervs. I just want to read more vampire books. So I got from the library. It's called DRACUL. It's by, I think this is how you pronounce it, Dacre Stoker and J.D. Barker are the authors. Dacre Stoker is Bram Stoker's great-great-nephew or great-grandnephew, something like that. So he compiled a lot of this old original text of Dracula, as well as diary entries and all this stuff, and created this story. I think some of it's set when Bram's a kid up until he's an adult. So I just started it. I'm already really hooked. It's written in one of my favorite formats to read, epistolary. I love it. I just like get so hooked with it. So I'm reading that, and then I'm just gonna, I don't know. I haven't read that much the last couple weeks, so I'm just like chomping at the bit to just read. And I'm going to be starting a bigger movie book project soonish. But until that, I just want to read whatever I want. So I do have all these. I don't know how many unread books. I should probably get on that. We'll figure that out. I'm gonna make a TBR jar and like think about my goals for this year, what I want to do in terms of like my channel, in terms of book goals and content. We're gonna do that this week, and I'm really excited about it. How are you all? I hope you're all doing really well. I'm going to chill on the couch for a bit, watch some booktube, then read some DRACUL, and take it easy. It's Sunday and I have to go back to work tomorrow, and I want to cry. Okay, I've had some breakfast, I've had some more coffee, I'm more awake now. But I think I figured out what I'm gonna read. But before I do that, I have to show you guys something that I can't believe I forgot. I can't believe I forgot to mention this. One of you lovely, lovely people, one of my lovely subscribers, sent me a book present. I'm so lucky. I got The Night Circus, and this was sent to me. I'm not going to say her full name. This is from Christine. Enjoy your gift. So thank you so much. I've wanted to read Erin Morgenstern for a while now, and for whatever reason I just haven't. I'm very excited to get to this year. It just seems super fun, and I'm so lucky. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that someone who watches me yap and spiral on the internet and talk about books, whatever else I bring to the table, thought of me to send me this book. So I'm very happy. Thank you so much, Christine. I really appreciate this. This will be on my upcoming TBR very soon. I think what I'm gonna do, I'm about 20% into DRACUL, really liking it. I'll talk about that more in a second. But the other books I'm gonna read, since I got an arc of this and it's coming out at the end of the month, I need to read it. At Dark I Am Loathsome by Eric LaRocca. This is his new novel. I think it's like novella? It's like a novella. It's a novella. It's 160 pages. This is his new work that's coming out at the end of the month. I read the first chapter. Whew, boy. This is probably going to be a doozy for this vlog. So I have that, DRACUL. I'm just in the mood for a lit fic. I'm in a mood for something that's not genre focused. I'm going to read Interesting Facts About Space by Emily Austin because I've not read her yet, and I really, really want to. I feel like she is an author for me. So that's the plan. DRACUL. At Dark I Become Loathsome. Rosie! Come bounce. Oh, I love you, little pea brain. Oh, there's Mackie. Luke just went out, so he's probably seeing if Luke will come back. Okay, so DRACUL. Are you gonna let me talk? Or you just want to give kisses? You just want to give kisses, Rosie. You smell like bread. You smell like corn chips, and I love it. Okay, you want to get down? Hold on. Please excuse my dog interruption. DRACUL. The beginning of it is set when Bram is 8 years old. He has an older sister, Matilda, who's 9, and another brother, Thornley, who is 10 or 11. They're very close in age. Anyway, they live in Dublin, and they are not super well off, but they are comfortable, and it's set during the potato famine in Ireland. And their family is very generous with people who come by who need to eat, letting people stay there. And it's tough right now. And also Bram has been a very sickly child. He almost died when he was born, and he's kind of been on the brink of death like his whole childhood. He's been bedridden, not really allowed to do anything. He doesn't really go outside that much. He's just very frail. The family has a nanny named Ellen, who is described as very beautiful and quiet and kind of keeps to herself, and the kids really like her. And she very much dotes on Bram. Bram gets very, very ill one week. He gets so ill, like he's dying. And they get a physician out there, and they're like, well, I don't know what's wrong with him. Let's put some leeches on him and get some of that sick blood out. You know, that old chestnut. And so Bram is like on the brink of death, and Ellen like comes in. Or he thinks he feels or sees Ellen or hears Ellen come in. And the next morning he's like brand new. Was never sick. He walks outside, and his sister is like amazed. His mom is amazed. Like, what? Are you okay? And then, but they notice that Ellen, this even happened when Bram was born, when he almost died and Ellen stepped in to help, that she becomes very drawn. Looks like she ages about 10 to 15 years. Like her hair gets really dry, her skin gets really pale and like drawn. She just looks exhausted, and she disappears in her room for days. And the mom's like, if we weren't desperate for help, she'd be fired, but she will not come out of her room for like days. Anyway, the time when Bram gets sick, the same thing happened. And now that they're older, they're like way more curious, and they're like, why is Nanny Ellen just so weird? So they like go to investigate. So that's like where they're trying to figure out what's going on with Nana Ellen. And there's also flashbacks to the present day Bram, where he's locked in this tower fighting some force or something that's outside the door. I love how it's written. It's very much like, if you like Dracula, it's very much like puts you back in this world, in this headspace, and I like getting to know more about Bram and his beginnings, whether or not a lot of it is fictionalized or fluff, whatever. I'm having a really good time with it. That is filling that void right now for me. The Nosferatu void. I don't have any plans today. I'm gonna go for a run. My half marathon training doesn't start till the end of the month, but I'm still keeping up running just to get more consistent with it. I've had some kind of off weeks because I got injured. Yeah. So trying to take it slow, going back into it, and then ramp up training at the end of the month. Go back to work tomorrow. So yeah, I'm just gonna chill. I'm going to go for my run, make some more coffee, take a shower, not in that order, and read more DRACUL, and probably start one of these books. So I will check back in with you all later. So happy to vlog again. I feel like I haven't vlogged in a while. Bye. Is still going. Oh wait, hold on. Before I turn this off, I actually realized I wanted to change this. Am I the only one who gets unsettled by an ambiance if there's like fire hazards? Am I the only one? Because I just noticed, I was like, that's a fire hazard. Those candles, are probably gonna explode. I don't know. And that's why like I can't pick this one. I have to pick a different one. Oh no. I'm really zoomed in. You can see my pimple. No, you can't. Hi. I went for my run. I journaled. I worked on my book journal. I will show you guys that when it's a little bit more fleshed out and I have some more imagery. I'm still trying to figure out like a few of the pages, so I'll show you that more when that's done. I'm about 60% through DRACUL right now. I'm still really liking it. The plot's gone along to where the Stoker kids are now all adults. And Matilda comes back from France and swears she sees Ellen. And that like ignites this like new search for her and finding her. And then Thornley, the other brother's involved with like a side plot. His wife has taken ill and is having a lot of psychosis. And as a doctor, he is trying to like fix her and figure out what's going on, but he's also like getting more and more worried. I'm really liking it. I like that it's now changing perspectives. It's not just Bram's diary, and now it's like Matilda and Thornley. I'm really liking it so far. I feel like I will say this, I feel like if you like Dracula, you will probably really like this because it's just a lot of fun, and it's really interesting to see like how these little instances in Bram's life and in his childhood with his imagination could turn something into Dracula, and like the story that Dacre Stoker and J.D. Barker have laid out is really good. So I did that earlier, came back. Yeah, I've just been putzing around, cleaning, and then I did read one chapter this morning, but now I'm farther along. What is with me? Farther along into At Dark I Become Loathsome. I will say I think this is definitely Eric LaRocca's best written work that he's put out. I honestly think he's gotten so much better as a writer his last few releases. I know last year his short story collection, why am I blanking on it? They all have long titles, so they kind of all blur together for me. The one with the snake on the cover, I'll put it right here. I also got that as an ARC last year, and I really like that. I ended up giving it 4 stars. At Dark I Become Loathsome. This comes out, like I said, on the end of January. It's his newest novella. This one is I'm 60 pages in. The first chapter, it definitely hooks you in the first chapter. I'm just gonna put a trigger warning right here for this because what I'm gonna talk about has to do with the plot and it's pretty heavy, so I'm gonna put a trigger warning right here. So this follows Ashley Luton, who he's been dealing with immense grief and pain following the death of his wife. His wife died from cancer, and a couple years later his son disappeared. His 8-year-old son disappeared. So he's just been on this dark spiral ever since then. And in order to deal with his pain and grief, he's turned to online forums and started conducting these rituals he calls them, for people who are suffering like him, who don't know if they want to be alive anymore. So the ritual is basically him. These people reach out to him on the forum, they have to sign a contract, and so he basically ends up burying them alive for 30 minutes. There's a timer he has like for 30 minutes, and this is supposed to reignite this will to live and more appreciative of their life. That's what it's supposed to do. So that's really what's going on, and he's, I don't know, obviously a very broken person, and the first chapter is him assisting with this ritual with this young woman. I don't know. I have read At Dark I Become Loathsome like probably 50 times in the last 60 pages. It's just inserted between a paragraph every now and then, so you have to keep reading it. It's him just saying like, at night I become a different person, I'm a monster, and he's also done like all these body modifications to him and his face to reflect how he feels on the inside as a monster, that he's a monster and this horrible person. So I'm assuming he's done something really horrible. It's very interesting, like I'm very intrigued. I don't know how I feel about the story yet. The only other things I've read by him are the short story collection and Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke, which I really liked. So I don't know, the story, it's just, yeah, there's a lot of like BDSM stuff too, which is like kind of shoved in there. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if this is gonna be one for me or not. Yeah, I will update you all later. It's only 160 pages, so I'm probably gonna finish it maybe tomorrow. I actually really want to finish DRACUL and then start Interesting Facts About Space. Yeah, so that's my update. It's 5:30 and the Golden Globes are tonight. I know like they're just kind of bullshit, like they don't really mean anything, but for me it's really entertaining. Award season is my football season, so I really enjoy watching it and just, I don't know, The like couple hours like where people are just talking about movies like in one room and appreciating movies and film and the creators, like I just love it. So that's what I'm gonna do later, and I don't know what I'm gonna do for dinner. I figure that out. This is making me a little nauseous, to be honest. At least this chapter I've been reading. And that's my update. Okay, I have my first DNF of the year. I was not expecting this at all, but I just can't. I'm like 90 pages in and I'm like, nope, this is not for me. This is not the type of horror I like. This is not the type of extreme horror I want to read about. So I'm DNFing. At dark I become loathsome. Like I said earlier, I think it's his best written. When I said that at the time, I was like 50 pages in. It's his best written. I don't know. I think I might be taking that back or downgrading that. This was definitely not. I don't know. There's just so many issues I had with like the story and like the main character and the writing. It became very repetitive, and there's a lot of like beautiful sentences that mean nothing. Hold on, I'm looking at my notes. A character involved called Jinx, who introduces himself over the online chat forum. A lot like things have gotten worse since we last spoke. Like he brought the chat aspect in, which I thought was cool at first. But then it's like 17 pages of this story that Jinx is telling Ashley that is so grotesque and awful. Then it just ends with them leaving the chat. Like what was the point of that? Like at all? What was the point of that story? I don't know, like parts with like the ritual and like it just got a little perverse for me, and I feel like kind of a sissy because I normally like don't tap out of extreme horror. Like I've definitely read worse than this. That being said, it just got like to the point where I just didn't care, and I got really sick of the main character describing themselves as a monster because of their facial piercings and their modification. Like he's the first person to ever have piercings or body modification, and that's what makes him a monster. I just like, and there's a story about like a dog, and that just like made me want to throw up, and that's like, I swear to God, if one more person comments on my disturbing books video, this one, about how I can handle like stuff happening to human beings or even kids, but I can't handle stuff happening to dogs. Thank you. Everyone has their own trigger. Everyone's disturbed by different things. We all are not disturbed or affected by the same things. It's just what my trigger is, and like my opinion. You don't like it? Go the f somewhere else. Yeah, it's just, I don't think it's for me. It just became really repetitive. Like there's another part where there's another story of like this couple, and he's like talking about getting turned on by his husband because he got diagnosed with colon cancer, and I'm just like, oh yeah. And he says how he would, this couple, and how he would be turned on by him if he got so thin he thought he were a Holocaust survivor. I'm just like, I don't think what I want to read and what I want to start my new year off with. So yeah, I am grateful like the publisher sent me this, the author. I don't know, I liked his work that came out so much more last year, like his short story collection. I liked the other 2 works I've read by him. Maybe I need to read more, but I don't think this is for me. I don't think it's very good, and obviously I don't think it's good enough for me to finish. I'm tapping out. So yeah, I'm a little bummed. I didn't expect to DNF a book this early on in the reading year, but here we are. So yeah, I'm almost done with DRACUL. I'm like 80% through. I'm still like the same thoughts about it. I'm still really liking it. It's taking a turn I didn't expect with Ellen. I didn't expect, which I'm very interested in. So I'm excited to see how it turns out. So far, I'm feeling like it's a little too long. Like I feel like, I know I'm at 80%, so things are obviously starting to wrap up. I've been really interested, so like I'm saying that I think it's too long, but I've been interested throughout. I don't know. I think I'm just in a bad mood because of that book. So I'm probably gonna finish DRACUL. Maybe put on a movie. Golden Globes were good. I don't really like Nikki Glaser, but she was definitely better than the asshat they had last year. So, and like I always like seeing people dressed up, talking about movies. Amelia Perez like sweeped. Like they got a lot of awards, which I did see that. I saw it in December. I really like the actors, and I love the representation that is so lacking in Hollywood. Zoe Saldana and Selena Gomez and Carla Sofia Garcon, they were all really great, and like the musical pieces were really cool. All that being said, I don't know how I felt about the movie as a whole. I felt like it was kind of a hot mess, for lack of a better term. I don't know what I was supposed to take away from that movie. The climax was like happened and then it was just over, and I was like, well, what the. Yeah, so it's weird. Like I love the performances in it and I love the musical numbers, but the movie itself I don't know if I liked. And somebody on TikTok compared it, it was like this year's Crash, which if you know what I'm talking about. I hated Crash. I don't think it's as bad or as the same level as Crash. I'm a little surprised. Completely, like, it's running over everything else in their categories. Yeah, like I said, I think all the performances are well deserved, but I don't know how I feel about it as a movie. There's still a bunch of movies that are nominated that I haven't seen. So I need to get on those too. I really want to see The Brutalist. It's like 3.5 hours long, so I'm probably gonna wait for that one to come into streaming at home. I do really want to see it. I want to see Conclave because I love Edward Berger. He did All Quiet on the Western Front, which I saw last year, and I loved it. I think it's one of the best war movies I've ever seen, if not the best war movie I've ever seen. There's a bunch of foreign language films I really want to see. So yeah, and I haven't seen any of the animation nominations. I cannot, wow. I almost had a stroke. I haven't seen any of the animation nominations. I do want to start Interesting Facts About Space because I'm hoping it'll be a great reprieve from what I just read. So I'm probably going to try and finish DRACUL tonight or tomorrow and start Interesting Facts About Space. But I will check back in with you later. A little bit of battery left on my camera, but I wanted to update you all very quickly. I just got done finishing my tier ranking video. That was super fun. And I did finish DRACUL last night. Or yesterday. I finished DRACUL yesterday. Overall, I really liked it. I think I'm gonna land on like a 3.75. I do think I like the first half better than the second half. I thought there was like some confusing elements that I don't know if I liked on the second part, but like the last like 20% like really ramped up. I still feel like if you like Dracula, you should totally read this. I don't know, I feel like it's still like the backstory with Bram and the epilogue and the author's note is really, really good. So I highly recommend it for that. Okay, so that's DRACUL. And I started Interesting Facts About Space last night and I blacked out and read 80 pages. And look at all these tabs! I'm loving this so far. This is about Enid, who's obsessed with space. She works for the space agency as like a data analyst. She's true crime obsessed. She is a lesbian who has never really been in a true relationship. She's very close to her mom, which is hitting me right in the heart and the feels. Like, I love all the parts with her and her mom, or her like talking about how much she loves her mom and cares about her mom. When Enid was young, her dad left her for another woman and had a family with her. So that family, her half-sisters still reach out to her and like invite her to stuff, and Enid feels really guilty about it. So hold on, I'll find this pot. I'm just really connecting with Enid. I take my phone out of my back pocket. I tap until I find my mom's name. When I think of her, rather than call her or text her a message that says something like, "Hey, I'm thinking of you," I tell her interesting facts about space. I text her, "Hey mom, did you know sunsets on Mars are blue?" And there's another part that I really connected with that just made me laugh because I was like, oh man, it's like, this is me to a T. She likes horror and like listens to true crime as like a coping mechanism, which I read somewhere. Watching horror, if you have anxiety or depression, is actually like really healing because it ups your dopamine when you get scared, or serotonin because you like have this rush of adrenaline. It says, I hate being startled. I prefer controlled forms of fear. I like my podcasts, horror movies, and ghost stories so that I can pause and rewind. I handle fear sort of like a warhorse. I could charge bravely into planned battle, take in the sights of bombs and corpses, but I would be spooked by an unanticipated barn rat. It's me. My biggest fear is mice. I'm terrified of mice. Oh my god. Like, I can watch all this horrible stuff and read horrible stuff happening to people, and I feel like I would handle situations really well. High stress, like horrific, like drop me in a slasher movie, but if there's a mouse involved, I'm done. I'm out. Anyway, I'm losing daylight, but I just wanted to update you all really quick before my camera died and before I left daylight. I cannot wait to pick this back up and read more of it. But about 80 pages in, and I'm loving it. I'm really loving her writing style. I'm loving, it's like really charming and funny, and I'm really connecting with Enid. I'm gonna go read more of this tonight and I will update you soonish. Hi, I just wanted to give a little update. I finished Interesting Facts About Space. This was so good. I loved this. It's very much a slice of life, and you're in Enid's head like the majority of the book as she's like learning how to navigate these different kinds of relationships, and I just loved it. I loved being in her head. I related to Enid so much more than I thought I would. So much more than I thought I would. And Emily Austen's writing is just spectacular. Like, I really want to read all of her books now. I've been saying that for a while, and I luckily got an arc of her new book, We Could Be Rats, that comes out the end of January. Anyway, I'm going to be reading that very soon, and I love this. I tabbed the hell out of this, and I just loved it. It's very sweet. It's very charming, sweet. It's funny. Got really emotional towards the last, like, 10% of the book, but I just loved it. I loved Enid's relationship with her mom. Just hits really hard for me right now, because I love my mom so much. Oh, yeah, I can't talk about that right now. Quirky everyone was in this, and there's a bit of a mystery going on too, and all the conversations that were had were so good. It's just so charming and makes my heart happy, so I'm very glad I read this. Talk about this really quick because I don't really have that much to say because I DNF'd it. I'm bummed about this. I really am. I was thinking about it more. It's like, I just don't have any interest in this at all, or finishing it, or seeing where it goes. It just was not for me. And it has a lot of good reviews on Goodreads, so I think this was an instance of a book just really not working for me. But I will probably still read Eric LaRocca. I will probably read more of his backlog. So there's that. And then DRACUL. Dacre Stoker and J.D. Barker. That was a killer book. Like, no pun intended, that was a great book. The more I've sat with it, the more I've really, like, man, that was really good, and I really had a good time with it, and it scratched the vampiric itch I've been having since Nosferatu and the Empire of the Vampire series. Maybe I might pause on my vampire books for a while. I actually don't really have one that I can think of on my TBR that's like, I want to read, but yeah, what a time. What an interesting start to this year. I did want to update you all. I've been working very hard on my journal and setting it up for this coming year, and I want to walk you all through it very quickly before I sign off. So let's pop over to that view. Okay, here's my lovely little book journal. It's cloth bound and has some gold leaves on the front. I really like it. I think it's really cute. So I'm open to the first page. I want to do like kind of like a library format because I do want to utilize my library more this year, and all my goals are right here. I have read 100 books, reread a book every month, track the books I bought. I want to have a low spend year, and I have an exception like new books, next books in a series I already own. If I want to continue the series, I will buy the next book if I really like it. Do the A to Z challenge and complete my 25 for 2025. So that's the first spread. And then I have my little bookshelf where I have like my color coding. I'm going to color code all the books like I did last year and by star rating. So I already have a few books right here. I'm going to add a couple more and add interesting facts about space. Here's all the breakdown of all the books I'm going to read, the title, author, rating, and the month I read them in. And I just really like how this looks, and it like tickles my brain a little bit. And then continuation, and then all my book bingo, which I did last year, and I had a lot of fun with it. I actually filled this out super early last year, so I tried to make them a little more harder, especially around the center and on the outsides. So yeah, we'll see. And then if I get bingo, I can go book shopping, but I think I'm going to do like more like if I get like a more interesting bingo or I do the whole thing, I will go book shopping. It's more of a challenge. Then I have all my series trackers, all the ones that I am in the middle of or starting. This is more of Realm of the Elderlings, which I haven't started yet, I have started. The next one would be Live Ship Traders, which I don't have the next book yet, so I'm going to hold off a little bit to get that one because I know it's going to be an obsession of mine once I start it. Then I have my 25 books for my 2025 TBR. I'm going to do a separate video about this, but here is a preview, and there was interesting facts about space right down there. Then I'm tracking all the books I bought. Don't want you guys to see this because it's planned for a video. But then I have library books next to it. I'm trying to get this so all the library books will always be longer than what I've bought. So we'll see how that goes. Then I have my really pretty A to Z challenge I want to do for myself. I'm doing this by book title, and I think I'll spice it up again a little more next year and actually do prompts that have to do with the alphabet or something like that, like a little more complicated than a title, because I think I really can only fit like one title per squiggle square. But I just like how this looks. Then I have my best book of the year bracket. I have it on the months on this side, and then they get whittled down and whittled down and whittled down until I figure out my best book. And this really helped me figuring out my top 10 for the year, and I think it looks really nice. I love it. That's my January spread. I wanted to go into January just nice and cozy and rest, and here's a coffee cup because I drink a lot of coffee. In my January TBR, I'm doing something different than what I did last year. Last year, I'm gonna pull this up. I did like how last year looked, but I realized I wasn't really keeping up with it as much as I like to. Like, I did a spread for the month, and then I did like more. I did a spread for the month, and then I did more like daily reading, which I really never kept track of. Then I would have some stats at the end, and like going for it, I was like, I don't know, I don't think I'm a stats person. Like, yes, I want to know how many books I read and what my favorite is, but that's really all I want to know. So that's the biggest difference from last year's reading journal. And then the book spreads for each book I'm going to do are going to look very similar to last year. Like, I'm going to have the cover and all the details about the book right here, a quote if I have one I really liked, and then the review, and then my collage for said book. But I gotta fill out some more pages, but that's my book journal. And if you would like to see more journal content, just put it down below. I would love to know if anyone's interested in it. This did take me quite a few days to get put together. I kind of wish I'd started in December, but here we are. Thank you all for watching this vlog. I hope you guys have had a great start in the new year. I hope you all are being cozy and reading a lot of great books, eating a lot of great food, taking care of yourself, all that good shit. And as always, thank you so much for clicking. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll have a new video for you soon. Bye! Bye.